Hello, this is Toy Spell, and today we're taking a look at the Black Myth Wukong Stone Monkey by Queen Studios INART 1/12 line. This is the third offering of the Black Myth Wukong series in INART 1/12, first being Zubaji, and then the second being the Destined one. So here we have the front of the box, we've got the side of the box, the back of the box, the other side of the box, and then we have the top of the box, and we have the bottom of the box. And now we have the box open. And oh my goodness, he comes with a lot. Let's go over that real quick. He has got so many pieces of stands, more pieces of stands, another small stand, and an arm of a stand, another piece for the stand, and the base for the big stand. He comes with two pieces for his Jingu Bane, his giant staff, so that you can slot them together. I don't know, can you see that? You can slot them together there. They are keyed, so you do have to fit them in the right place. Slide them in together. And now you have a Jingu Bane that really barely fits on screen here. You have two ice effects for whenever you want him to be the Ice Stone Monkey from the game. You have two fire effects from whenever you want him to be the Fire Stone Monkey from the game. And then you have two open hands. You have two slightly different open hands. And then this hand, which is a relaxed hand. And this one has a peg in it because you might have seen that this giant staff right here has a hole in it so that you can peg this in. And believe me, I don't think he's gonna ever hold this. This is heavy. This is ridiculously heavy. I feel like this should have been made out of a really soft or a really hollow plastic or something, but it is not. It is, I mean, it's not metal or anything, but it is heavy. And then you have this alternate head. So in this one, it's a little hard to tell. Let me zoom in here. But in this one, the eyes are ever so slightly different, but he does have an open mouth where you can see his teeth and he's gritting. Whereas the other one is clearly a closed mouth, which is more stoic. And the hands that come on him are closed fist hands. So let's take a closer look at the Stone Monkey himself. His paint and sculpt is mostly a stone shade. I would say gray, but honestly it's like a purpley red. It gives the look of stone and you think gray automatically, but that is not what color it is. Inside you see the highlights of like yellowy, maybe some kind of warm tone in there. Then his cloth here, but it's not cloth, it's plastic or rubber, has some beads on it that are colored. Every bead is nicely colored on it. There is no bead that is missed. And yeah, so that stone texture goes through his entire body except some fur parts. So like his tail here is furry, and then on his forearms he has some fur texture and color in there. And then his head is covered in a nice, oh, there you go. His head is covered in a nice fur. His nails are black, even on his toes. And that is the general idea of it. There isn't anything crazy about it. It is kind of a simple paint job, but like it does the job really well. It's not bad at all. It really does make you think it's the Stone Monkey. It looks a lot like it does in game, but what do you expect from INART? And then his eyes, in both head sculpts, you can see that his eyes are glossy, so they reflect the light a lot, and that gives it a really realistic look. It's super nice. This cloth piece along his waist is floating. It's free floating, so you can move it up and you can move it down. You can even spin it around if you want, but it will move out of the way when you want to articulate him and just get out of the way in general because it's a really soft rubber. There's even a part right here on his hip where there's a stone jutting up, so the cloth has a triangle shape there and it fits that stone perfectly, so it gets out of the way. His chest is a hard plastic and like the rest of the figure, but the reason I was wondering that is because his cod piece, his groin, his hips, and his butt, those are all a soft rubber. I don't know if you can see me indent it there, but those are all soft, and it is also kind of free floating, which reminds me a lot of McFarlane figures. So let's get into some articulation. His head can move left and right. I don't think it can go all the way around because I think some of this fur is blocking it, but it can also go up pretty high and down pretty low, and that is just at the base of the head. This back fur piece thing is free floating, so that moves out of your way when he's looking up and when he's looking down. So that doesn't get in the way at all unless you're trying to move left and right. I think that's partially what it is. I think there is a dumbbell in there that is letting him do all this crazy kind of movement. Yep, it is a dumbbell here, a very long one. You can even see that there's an arrow on the dumbbell. Let me see if I can get that a little closer. So that it tells you if you detach the dumbbell completely, which side goes up. That's super cool. But there is a dumbbell under the neck, and when you take off the head, you also have this fur piece that's behind his head that helps him move his head up and down. Then on top of that, he has this neck joint here. So if you really want him to look down, you can get him to look down. And if you really want him to look up, he is looking quite high up. That's awesome. So yeah, this neck plus the head joint really let him get his head in any direction you want it to. It's kind of amazing. It's really, really good. I like it a lot. His shoulders are wild. So there's this giant shoulder piece right here. This is on its own joint. It doesn't have much movement, but it has enough to get out of its way. It's on both sides. It can even kind of twist. I'm not sure if it's on a dumbbell as well or what kind of pig that's on, but when you want to move the shoulder up, he's got a butterfly in here and a hinge. So up without the butterfly gets you this high, and as you saw, that shoulder piece moved out of the way. And then if you want to include the butterfly in there, he's getting really high. And there's the articulation in there. You can see the hinge is there and the butterfly is here. So this piece right here, that's the butterfly that lets him get all the way up. And that is on both sides. That's a crazy amount of articulation. And then he does have somewhat of a twist in here, but it's not crazy because it kind of gets blocked by this, I think, or maybe just the sculpt underneath. I don't know exactly what's blocking it, but I don't think you need it. He cannot get his arms against his sides though, so that's something to consider. I don't know why you would ever want this giant monster of a stone monkey to be so relaxed that he's got his arms against his side, but if you do, you can't do it. Then for his elbows, you do have the double joint. So that's one joint, and then there is the other joint. Let me see, there we go. It's a pretty good double joint. It doesn't get him to like fully close his arm, but that is a really, really good double joint. With his wrists, you don't see any sign of the joint at all. It's completely covered, and so you think maybe it doesn't have that much articulation, but you can see it rotates completely, and you can bend it, and you can bend it, and you can bend. Well, let me show you a better version. Here we go. You can go up and you can go down, so you can go in any way you want. And if you pop off the wrist, you see it is just basically a ball joint in there attached to a peg. So that is why it goes in any direction you want. It's super nice, and it gets completely covered when you put that any hand on there. Incredible. It's crazy how they're hiding a lot of these joints just because he's a stone monkey, and the texture really takes care of a lot of that. But that's not necessarily what's taking place in the hand. Something else is in the hand where they sculpted it and they made the cuts in a way that just make it hitting. It's awesome. So for torso articulation, he has a joint up here and he has a joint down here. Up here, he can go back that far, and he can go forward, holy, that far. And then let's straighten him out here. The bottom joint can go back that far and forward that far. So let's combine them for a back of that and a forward of that. And then you combine that with his neck and his head. Menacing, absolutely menacing. Oh yes, and so this top joint can go side and side, and the bottom joint can go a little side to side. So you combine those, and you're getting you're getting him to lean a lot. I don't quite know what pose requires this much of a lean, but you can do it. The leg joints. Okay, so this is where that rubber takes place here. So this is gonna clash with that. Leg joints can go up about that far. Sorry, that far. And back that far, and you can see this rubber is really taking some effect here. Let's see what happens on the other side. See, that rubber is getting caught there. You have to wiggle it around. And then this side also goes up a little bit and back a little bit. And that rubber is doing a lot of work of getting out of the way, so you don't have to worry about it losing more articulation. Then there is out and out. It's pushing the rubber piece, the rubber waist piece in, and you can see he gets almost a full stretch or a full split. I don't know. I mean, that's really close to a full split. Push those back in, and then there is a thigh cut there as well, so you can rotate either way. And obviously that hip joint wants to move with it too. His knees are double jointed, and they will go up that far. That's really stinking good. Ankles look like this is a hinge joint maybe, and it can go rotate either way, so you can rotate your feet like this, side to side, or you can swivel them from side to side, or you can point them down and point them up. Lots of good articulation in the feet there. And then he does have a separate piece for the ball of his feet here up to his toes, which lets you rotate them separately, independently, and they can go up and they can go down quite a bit. With that rotate, you can see a little better on the side here. And then the big toe also has its hinge, which goes down and up a little bit. And finally, the tail articulation is attached here to this rubber piece for the butt. This has no rotation that I see, and honestly, I'm a little worried, concerned about its longevity, its ability to last long. But the tail is wired. Just don't try to twist it, because there is no twisting motion there. So if you want it to go to the side, bend it to the side, and there you go. Now it's to the side. If you want to go straight back, or if you want to go to the other side, just bend it that way. Don't try to twist this or rotate it. I don't think it will, and I think you have a good chance of breaking that tail connection. I am a little worried about that. One of the things about Wukong figures or monkey figures is sometimes those tail connections can be a little finicky. So yeah, the articulation on this guy is great, and he is a gorgeous looking figure. His joints aren't completely hidden like some of the INART figures, but they are pretty well hidden for the most part. And the amount of articulation he gets is insane, especially for how beautiful he looks. And I mean, you can get a lot of poses with him, which we will go into pretty soon. I did want to talk about this giant stick one more time, just real quick. I don't know if I hit it home, but he will have a hand piece that connects to the giant stick right here. Let's see if I can get it in. There we go. That is meant to be holding the stick, and there is absolutely no way he's ever gonna hold this. Maybe propped on his shoulder so that the rest of the figure can hold the weight, but you do need the stands for this. Like, you're gonna need the stand in any position. I think that is probably the biggest and maybe the only fault in this figure so far is I can already tell there's absolutely zero chance he's ever holding this on his own. He needs the stand. I wish it were significantly lighter, but I don't know why they chose to make it this heavy. It looks fantastic. It looks just like it did in the game, and I think it's aesthetically perfect. But there's just no way he's holding this on his own. Okay, let's get into posing this bad boy. You know, getting this little turntable out every time I want to get the poses done for the figure, slightly a hassle. So let me know, does this turntable really make a big difference for you guys? I think it looks cool, but is it that much better than just posing him up? Do you like seeing the full rotation? So this one here is kind of a cop-out pose. This is the pose I had him in when I said it's articulation time. But now you get to see a full circle of him, a full roundabout. You get to see his whole body. This fire effect fits his arm perfectly. Like, it was sculpted for it. It's amazing. The same goes for this ice effect. These were clearly sculpted to fit on the figure in a very precise way that leaves like no gaps. It looks so good on them. And since you get 2 of the effects each, there is a front facing one and a back facing one. One to go on the back of his forearm and one to go in the front of his forearm for each the ice and the fire effect. So that whichever way you pose them, part of the arm is not exposed. It's kind of crazy he can hold his own arm. Like his arm can cross his body like that. Man, he just looks good in any pose you put him in. Even if they're not that actiony, he looks good in them. It's not super easy to tell from far away, but I did do a head swap and he is got his teeth shown here. Probably better for close-up photos. This definitely isn't the best looking pose with this staff, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it's kind of hard to pose him up with this because the staff is heavy and you need to figure out where the stand goes. This is basically the same pose, but without the stand this time, just dragging the staff along the ground, swinging it up. It really does show the weight of the staff, but like, it didn't have to be real weight. And this is how I feel after trying to pose him with the staff in different ways. I wanted something a little more raw, animalistic in this pose. So, I mean, he's a bulky, beastly demon in the game. Like, you don't want to mess with him. He's pure instinct. Okay, I didn't give up. I tried one more staff pose. This is pretty cool. I like this. I wasn't sure it was gonna work. Like, look at that. He's using it as like a pool vault. Okay, one more with the staff. I am using both stands to hold him up here, but this is epic. Okay, things I learned while posing him. His biggest limitation is this. This thing is by far the biggest limitation in his articulation, because he needs to be really finessed with this. Like, this is the hand that always has to be anchored to the staff, so it's always got to be this arm. You can pop it off, like right now I have it facing so it's facing the top. You can pop it off and make it face the other way, but either way, this staff is anchored to this arm, and it is incredibly heavy, so it's gonna be a bit difficult to pose him with this, finding the right poses. And using the stand to hold it up because it is heavy. Another thing I discovered while posing him is you do have to be careful with this soft rubber piece that's on his butt here, that's like that middle piece, because you can get him in awesome poses that will bend this rubber piece. So just make sure after you're done posing him that it's not pushed up underneath his leg or anything. You want to make sure it's pulled out again and in a natural position. Otherwise, I did discover that there is more of a bicep swivel than I had originally thought. So if you get his arm up here, you can then see that you can swivel it pretty well. Like, you get good bicep swivel out of this. I didn't think there was that much. I'll just make sure it is aligned with that hinge joint in there, so that when you put it back down to a natural position, let's see, can you see that? Let me move this here. That hinge joint right there, make sure it is aligned with that, so when you put it back down to a natural position, you're getting it as flat as possible, and you're not trying to like snap those pegs, because like those pegs do look, they don't look tiny, but they're on the smaller side. Actually, they're kind of thick, but I still worry about it, you know? I feel like you can only swivel it when it's up, then you can swivel it, and then you can put it back down in whatever position. But when you do swivel his arms, just make sure they're aligned with that hinge again when you put them back down. But ultimately, that's a huge plus, because I didn't think he had much upper arm swivel, like bicep cut. So that's really nice. Other than that, his articulation's been great. The posing really proved that to me. He can get incredibly low, and then you can compare that with his head going down, and that's just wild to me. And then if you move his hairpiece, even at that low, you can have him almost look forward. That is just insane. So his articulation was proven to me that it is incredibly awesome. And all of his pop-in swaps, like his hands and his head, were fairly easy. I didn't really have any complications with them at all. If you are scared and you're feeling a little more resistance than you want, just heat it up a little bit. Mostly when I'm putting the hands on, like when I put a hand on, I heat it up for the first time just to make sure that that hole will fit around the peg. After that, it seems completely fine. I just switched his head again. So now he's back to the calm, stoic face. Anyway, let's get on to comparisons. I'm a little worried on how he compares to the Destined one, because in the game, if this is, well, I can't say much, but he's big. He's supposed to be pretty big compared to the Destined one. Here he is compared to a Marvel Legends. That's a pretty good height comparison. This is promising. I like this comparison. Very nice. DC McFarlane Batman, they are just about the same height, you know, minus the Stone Monkey's hair here. That's pretty cool. He could be used as like a monster Batman fights if you have no affiliation to the game. Black Myth Wukong. That's not bad. We've got some Star Wars Black series here. This is pretty nice as well. He's a big monster. He could definitely be found on a planet that Boba Fett is getting a bounty for, or the Republic Commandos have to go and eliminate all adversaries, all resistance. I need to do more Republic Commando shots. I missed this guy. I haven't played around with him in a while. I do need more battle droids for him to face off against. If you have battle droids and you want to get rid of them, let me know. SH Figuarts Boba Fett. There he is. Also, he is small. SH Figuarts usually get pretty small, so there he is. If you like those 5-inch Sega figures, here's Shinobi. You can also compare this to whatever the dwarf from Gauntlet would look like, but those are the Sega Genesis by Jazzwares. You know, just in case you were curious what he looks like against a NECA Godzilla. That's what he looks like against a NECA Godzilla. You know, just in case you wanted to know. I'm sorry, but I don't remember Mythic Legion's names. So here is the Mythic Legions, the one that reminds me of Styx. So, like the Goblin, the Mythic Legion's Goblin here. Mythic Legion's Goblin. And we've got the one that reminds me of Beowulf. So there is that. You've got the Mythic Legion's Beowulf guy. He scales pretty well for monsters in that line. Which of course has to bring me to the Figura Obscura Wukong. Wukong is definitely smaller. That is your scale there, your difference. Moving back so you can see a little better. And that ultimately has to bring me to the other INART offering, the Destined one. Let me stand them up to find out the size comparison here. Let's just do it on screen. Got that and that. Rotate the foot a little bit. Rotate this foot a little bit. Pop that down. Wired on his little skirt here is awesome. Okay, do we have him in a standing position? Bring his arm down. And his other arm down. Rotate that out of the way. Let's let him have that against the ground. All right, here we go. Let's make him look down a little bit. Oh, yes. I haven't looked at any reviews yet to see what the size comparison between these two are. And I am very happy to see that the Destined one is indeed shorter than the Stone Monkey, and by a decent amount too. This is accurate, and I love it. And this is gonna make for some great shots for sure. I absolutely love this scaling here. Then we get Jubaji, and here we are. These are the 3 INART offerings as of right now for Black Myth Wukong. Jubaji, the Destined one, Stone Monkey. They look great. Look at that. That is beautiful. It's like a family photo or just an in-game look at these 3 characters. I'm very happy with this. This is awesome. I cannot tell you how cool this is. Hopefully you're getting it by how much I'm babbling right now. So let's stop babbling. Let's go on. I was also curious to know how he stacked up against the Joyman toy Wukong. So there's that. So that's it. That's the Stone Monkey. What can I say more about him? I guess the positives and the negatives. The negatives are that I'm disappointed in the staff. It's really heavy, it's hard to pose. You can still get amazing poses with it. It is actually really good looking. Like, it is aesthetically very pleasing and you can get some really good poses with it, but it is heavy. It's like way too heavy for the figure to hold, and that makes it a bit more difficult for him to pose with. You can still get those poses, but it's gonna take a little more effort to get those poses while the hand is attached to the staff, or if you want to attach the hand first to that and then attach the staff to it, it's a little more difficult. And then the other negative would be, I guess the rubber piece can fold in on itself, and you want to make sure when you're posing it that the rubber piece goes back to normal afterwards so that you don't get it stuck like that. Oh, and the tail. The tail's a little scary. That is a scary piece, that it's a scary connection. You can't twist it, you can't really bend it too much there, so make sure you do your bending a little further down in the tail. Do I have any other negatives? I don't think so. No, I don't think I have any other negatives. The positives are the looks of the figure. Oh wait, I think I have another negative. What's the difference between these two hands? Are these the same hand? Like, is one slightly more open than the other? I don't know. The positives are everything else. I mean, come on. These fit in the arm, like, perfectly with, like, I mean, the little slots fitting around the arm fur, they're sculpted exactly to fit around arm fur, or like this wrapped around his wrist while this fit around the arm fur. Like, they thought of everything when giving you these pieces. These are, see that there, and this arm fur here, see that? That fits around that perfectly. Like, these were made exactly to fit as one piece, and then they were sculpted separately, and I love that. Like, their magic fit, their connection is so perfect. The looks of the figure are so good. The wash on this is incredible. Let's pull that a little closer. The paint on everything, the beads, the wash on the soft, well, not soft good, but the cloth here, and then the paint on the figure. No paint was missed. Even his head, like, look at that. That is incredible. The glossy eyes, the color inside the eyes, you can see he's got those like red eyes, and then the lava or the fire, the essence cracking through this stone on him. So good. Oh, I guess I could have shown you this face. The different faces are nice. I wish more expression was given between the two, but if you play the game, you probably know that there isn't much more expression given in this figure or in this character, so I don't mind that as much. But yeah, everything looks super great on the figure. He poses perfectly. He's great. Like, if you played Black Myth Wukong and you wanted a stone monkey, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't get this figure. Like, he is just so cool looking. All I did was move his head so he's looking up, and like, this looks awesome. I just think this figure is so cool. Like, this is with his arms straight and they cross the body that much. And then if you put in a little bend, look at that. That is crazy. Okay, I really should be done rambling about this guy, but he is so much fun to play around with and get different poses, and just like slightly altering his pose a little bit is enough to make him look like he's in a completely different pose. He looks good. I think he's great. Let's end the review. So that's my review. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay safe and have fun.